Hello, welcome. Oh, my internet is going to be wonky again. Hopefully, it'll be fixed by this weekend. But tonight, I am joined by, do you go by Gabby anymore or
Yeah, it is Gabrielle on Facebook, but I do go by Gabby.
Gabby? Okay, well, that's what we know you as. So you're always Gabby to us. Um, so Gabby was a graduate from the school back in 2016. You started in 2015 with us, but even before that, you were our pet sitter.
Yes, I was. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, so it was our dynamics. So why don't you? I'm kind of here this month doing follow up on graduates and where they're at, what they're doing. And I wanted to start with you because you have some huge news, and I would say you have definitely progressed and just exploded in this industry. You are doing streaming shows left and right.
Yeah, definitely. That's a pretty new adventure for me for sure. But that's been really cool. Getting to do podcast interviews with like some of my biggest idols in the industry, and so yeah, hosting the T-Com Grooming Expo in July, and it's very exciting getting to work with some of the greatest groomers in the country and having all sorts of groomers come in for continuing education workshops. We're going to have grooming competitions. We have a big trade show hall filled up. We're expecting about 30 vendors when we're totally filled. And so
30
it's
vendors?
about 30. We're sitting at about 20 right now, and then we still have some run out in the lobby area to fill up out there. So it kind of depends on how many booth spaces they take up, obviously. So, but right now, the trade show hall is just about filled. We just got Evolution Cheers joining us today, so super excited to have them on board. As I know you've worked with them a lot in the past.
Yay.
Yeah, so it's shaping up to be a really cool show. It's very
I
exciting.
do. We still do.
Good, good.
Yeah, that's amazing. Are you sanctioned for Groom Team, or I don't know how that works?
Yeah, so we're working on it. So it's one of those things where you have to follow the Group Team USA rules of sanctioning structure for 2 years in a row in order to get your sanctioning. This year, unfortunately, we're kind of
Okay.
starting on a leap year. So this will kind of be just getting your feet in the water, just getting to check it out. We are still following Group Team rules and regulations just to kind of prepare us to work towards sanctioning. But this year will not actually count towards our sanctioning. The next 2 years will actually count towards becoming sanctioned.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. So, but that's not that far off. I mean, this
No.
your first year. That's huge.
Yeah.
All right. So let's go back to the beginning. Tell me, or tell everyone, where is your passion coming from? Where is this drive? What got you into the grooming industry and moving? I know you did so much horses, rabbits.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
you had chickens.
Yeah. Love my chickens. Yeah. Well, I grew up on a farm, and or I should say, pretty much spent most of my time on my grandparents' farm, but was always around horses and riding horses growing up. And
Mhm.
so I knew I always wanted to do something with animals. And I was working at a pet store, kind of helping run the pet department, which is actually where I met you initially. And during that period of time, I was running a pet sitting business on the side. So I grew up with standard poodles, and my parents had tried encouraging me to
I
go to
forgot about
grooming
that. Yep.
school when I was younger, and it just didn't. I loved horses. It didn't seem like something that I really wanted to do, but I got pet sitting and really enjoyed it, and that's when I met you and started pet sitting for you, and you were a huge driving force in pushing me to really consider grooming more and check it out more. And so after going to the academy and checking it out, I decided, you know what, a couple people have really pushed me to do this in my life. Maybe I should just give it a go. So certainly after you took me down to my first grooming expo, the New England Grooming Show,
Yeah.
that is what set my world on fire for grooming.
Yeah.
I was totally hooked, and just saw how big the industry was, because I really had no idea what could happen in our industry until I went to the grooming show. So um, after graduating the whole Pet Grooming Academy, I started working corporate. I was at a Petco salon and had a fantastic team there, some amazing
You had
groomers.
a great
I did.
that
I was
team. They were
fortunate.
fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah. And they super, they were really encouraging, they actually helped me host my first workshop. So I had Anne Francis come and teach a poodle grooming workshop. I believe we hosted that at your salon at that time.
I
Yeah.
believe you did. Yes.
So, and that's really, I had met Anne Francis before, but that's where like I really started connecting with her and realizing, I really want to start taking some private lessons with her and learning from her and wanting to start competing. So I found a client, he's an Aussie Doodle actually, and took some lessons from Anne Francis and did some freestyle grooming competitions with Cody, the Aussie Doodle, and started really getting more into continuing education and the competitions and just seeing how much the industry had to offer. And it just drove me to have this thirst to want to learn and grow and just gain as much knowledge and experience as I possibly could, realizing that there was just so much within reach. So started doing online stuff and anything that I could. And so, but as you know, out on the East Coast, we have, New England Grooming Show, there's Hershey, there's Intergroom. There's all sorts of shows within easy driving distance. So when I moved out here, of course, what was the first thing I'm going to do is see, well, what's the grooming show that I can go to out here? And surprise, surprise, everything is 14 hours away out here.
Yeah. Where is out here? Exactly.
I live just outside of Idaho Falls, Idaho. So it is the southern east side of Idaho. So we're about 3 hours from Salt Lake City.
Okay. Well, that's not too terrible.
No, it's not bad. But I felt for the groomers out here, like having to travel that far to go to an in-person show. Because, as we all know with COVID, we got to experience online stuff a lot, which is definitely cool. And it's great, being able to sit in the comfort of your own home and do it all. But I am a very social butterfly. And I love hearing music and touch scissors and just the experience that you have at an actual expo. So I decided something needed to happen that was in this area, because everything, you got California and Vegas and Tacoma, but they're all like literally on the coast. So there was nothing centralized over here for like Montana, the Dakotas, obviously Idaho and Utah. We needed something more over here.
Yeah, they're very much centralized on the coastal.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got Texas, which is still a hike.
Right. It's still pretty far.
Yeah. So no, it sounds so. That's you said. I'm going to do it. When did you decide that?
I'm a very spur of the moment person, so that's literally kind of just like one day was like, you know what, I'm gonna do this. And so I did a post on Facebook just kind of gauging interest in the area to see who would be interested in having. I was picturing something small scale, like, we'll just have like maybe a couple hundred, like 300 groomers, and we'll just do like 1 or 2 workshops and just like kind of like a smaller, like how you did the competition at the academy, just something smaller. And had so much feedback and interest that I realized how much of a need there was for something big in this area. So within a day, started looking for a big venue that would work and reserved the venue, and just kind of had to start figuring everything out.
That's crazy. Wow. So it's a 3-day show?
It is 3 days. So we have 3 days of continuing education. That first day, there'll be seminars going on all day long, and vendors will be coming in, getting set up for the trade show. We'll be setting up the competition stage. We'll have our judges and contestants meeting. And that evening, we have a groomers get together. So there's a bar attached to the facility. And so we have a live band coming in, and going to just invite everybody to come down and hang out, meet some local groomers in the area, and maybe some that aren't from the area. So kind of fun. And then Saturday and Sunday, we'll still have all the seminars and workshops going on throughout the day. We'll have the trade show going on, grooming competitions. We actually have some free seminars that are taking place in the trade show hall. We've got raffles going on, supporting our local dog 4-H club. So all sorts of fun
Very cool. Very cool.
stuff.
So this whole thing, and you also run your business.
Yeah.
So when you came out of school and you were corporate for a number of years, but then you jumped right in. So tell me, because you still have your adorable little car.
Thank you.
You house
Yeah,
call.
I am house call. Yeah. So about 3 years I was at Petco, and I just kind of started getting the itch to do something more. Just having trained at a private salon and then going to corporate, I obviously knew that there were differences in the different environments. And also, Megan, I'm going to slaughter her last name, Paduco.
Taco.
Um, yeah.
Yep.
So she has a mobile company. So she actually gave me a tour for a day to check out her mobile buses, kind of see what that would be like going mobile. And so I just knew I wanted to do something more, but obviously kind of where I was at, the financial situation of like renting a salon or getting a mobile vehicle. I was trying to figure it out. I figured I probably could, but so the New England Grooming Show was coming up, and they had a mobile grooming um, seminar coming on. So I was going to take that. And when I got there, I saw that they had a different seminar called Everything But the Kitchen Sink, House Call Grooming.
Oh, was that was with Chris, wasn't it?
Laura Hearn taught it, but it is her book. Chris wrote the cat section in her
Yeah.
book. Yeah. So I decided to switch to that and check it out because I'd never even heard of it. And kind of same thing for the moment. Within that day, I was like, well, we're going to start a house call grooming business because that's something that I could do right away. I had all of the tools and equipment, a table and dryer. I was literally ready to go. So, yeah, I started Canine Cosmetology. That was in October of 2019. And just slowly started working my way up back in New Hampshire, and then met David, fell in love, and moved across the country to Idaho and restarted my business.
Literally moved, because weren't you in Vermont for a little bit too?
It like a week. It was really
A week,
quick.
yeah.
So
Okay. Yeah.
we had only been together for about 2 months roughly before he sold his house and was moving across the country. I said, well, I'm coming with you. And
Oh
it's
my goodness.
the
Wow.
biggest blessing.
That's a spur of the moment too.
It was, everything was so meant to be this way and meant to happen. Though my business grew out here 5 times faster than it did back in New Hampshire. There's such a need for groomers in this area, and the clientele out here is definitely well suited for house call. So it really was a blessing coming out here.
Oh wow, that's great.
Yeah.
It's very interesting to hear, that as a business owner, I'm big into you got to take the risks to grow, and if you don't, you
Yep.
you just kind of level out, and that's okay, but you got to up the
I'm
game
something
too.
I
You're
am
like
always
that.
searching for more. I always want to grow, and I know
What's
there's more out there. So yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, do you have an office at home or?
Sort of, but I have where I keep like my shampoos and charge my stuff and keep all my paperwork and everything. But most of my stuff is in my van, so at least it's hard during winter. It's weather out here is pretty much very similar to New England, so we still go through really cold winters. So I have to take my dryer and my electronics and my shampoos out during winter. But 3/4 of the year, everything is just in the van. I have a client who's actually making me a structure for my van. So for those of you who don't know, I have one of those little utility vans, and it's got my logos and everything plastered all over it. And so he's making me a structure for the back of it where there'll be 2 slots to slide my grooming tables into, slots to slide my dryers into, and then I use a Zuka bag, which is pretty typical for house callers to use, and that will have its own section too. I've got a dirty towel bin, all my hose attachments have a bin. So kind of just set up for everything that it's basically like my mobile office, everything that I would have. Yeah.
That's great. So when you're doing your mobile, what's your day like? How many grooms? How far are you traveling? What
I try not
size?
to travel. I try not to travel more than 40 minutes from my house either direction. It's typically about 30 minutes either way. And I try to focus. So like say I'm going up towards Idaho Falls area. So I actually live in Firth, which is about 20 minutes from Idaho Falls. So if I'm going to go to Idaho Falls area, I try to keep all my calls within a 15-minute driving from each other that day. Typically, about 3 calls a day is pretty average, so about 3 dogs a day. And I started out kind of not really caring what size dog I did, but as other house callers will know, house call is the hardest form of grooming on your body. And bending over people's bathtubs all day long, trying to bathe a 120-pound dog is pretty rough. So I quickly started switching to trying to go away from big dogs and mostly just do small dogs now.
Okay. So like under 30 pounds or?
Yeah, I definitely still have a couple. I probably like 80% of my clients are doodles. I have a huge doodle population out here. So a lot of doodles or poodle mixes. But yeah, I probably have, I don't know, about 10 dogs left on my client basis that are around 50 pounds, but most of them are pretty small now.
Yeah. That's doodles, I think, are like all across the board. Everybody's got their flood of doodles.
Yeah, they're certainly growing in popularity.
So what do you think is next?
So at the moment we're working on bringing, so my boyfriend David, we're working on bringing him on as our cooperative care specialist. So he's going to start coming with me and helping me with some of the tasks of grooming, so we can start adding on another appointment during the day, making some more time for that, and also going to start adding in offering some training for pet parents for their dogs, some playtime, dog walking, just some added services on the things that we already offer.
Oh, wow. So is he in the industry also, or what's his background?
So he does not have a lot of experience in the past with dogs. He is working towards becoming a trainer. So that is the long-term goal, is for him to become a trainer. Down the road, once we get a house, we're going to be looking to open up a facility and do training and boarding one-on-one, keeping it smaller scale, being able to offer more luxury services. So his long-term goal is definitely to become a trainer.
He should take Chrissy's classes.
I love Chrissy. I listen to her podcast like every day.
Yeah, you should jump into her class. She starts her behavior coming up next week. So I think she's actually watching too.
Oh yeah, hi Chrissy. Yeah, I know, and he's listened to her podcast with me a couple times, and that's another huge reason why I'm super excited for him to get his training certification and get going with that. Because I mean, I know a little bit about like training dogs for grooming, but I'm not a behaviorist. Like I don't know. He noticed the other day, like I have a problem Bernedoodle puppy that I was working with. So I had him look at the video because he's already learned a ton. And so I had him watch it for me. I was like, this is what I'm seeing in this dog. What are you seeing? What are some things that I could be doing to get rid of some of these mouthing problems? Because he gets pretty snippy with a lot of stuff. And so he was immediately noticing things that I didn't notice. I'm like, this is where it's going to be helpful having you come on as a cooperative care specialist with me, because you're going to be able to see these things and help me explain to pet parents, look, this is a problem. This is how we need to work on the problem. Let's start adding on some training appointments too, so we can get rid of this problem so your dog can continue to be groomed, because we don't have to groom bad dogs or difficult dogs. Grooming is a luxury service. So it'll be really nice to have him come on board and be able to help with that.
Yeah, that's huge. Yeah, you do. That's that's great. So anybody, new students coming up, what would you say to them? Any advice you would give to them besides come to your show?
Yes, please come to the show. It's going to be wonderful. I definitely would say just always keep your eyes open and just realize that this industry has an endless amount of things to offer. There's so many, even just as a groomer, there's so many different directions that you can go. I mean, you can focus more on skin and coat, more on behavior, more on becoming a competitive groomer. There's so many things that we can do in this industry. So start to figure out what it is that within the grooming industry where your passion really lies, and work towards constantly growing. Don't just become stale in your work. Always practice continuing education. Like we should be constantly learning, because our industry is constantly changing and we're constantly having new things presented to us. So definitely don't just go through academy and then just say, that's good enough, I'm done. Always keep trying to learn more.
Yeah. What are you looking at for yourself?
So I just finished mostly finished my fear-free certification training. So I got the actual grooming, the big grooming portion of it done, and then they offer some smaller free courses along with that I've done. My long-term goal is to take all of the fear-free training classes that they have. So they offer it for trainers, veterinarians, pet sitters, groomers. So I would like to eventually go through all of those and then be able to become a fear-free educator. So down the road, I'd love to be able to travel to all of these different expos and be able to teach as a fear-free educator at the expos.
Are you doing any classes at your?
I wish. I so wish that I could, but I'm going to be running around with my head cut off, so it's going to be kind of crazy. If I get a chance, I would love to just sit in on a couple classes because I'm kind of jealous because I've got so many awesome educators coming, and I'm not going to be able to listen to any of them. But yeah,
Yeah.
hopefully next week it'll be a little calmer and I'll be able to.
Do you have help?
I do, yeah. So the 4-H club that we're sponsoring is with for the raffle. They're coming in. They're going to help us with setting everything up on Friday and running the registration booth for us. My parents are being amazing and flying out. They're going to be helping me out to. Is that Percy?
Oh, yes, it is. I know it's Percy.
Yeah, my
He
parents.
likes.
That's cute. Yeah, my parents are coming out. They're gonna run my hound hook booth for me and just kind of help me with setup and things that I need.
How
My
is
boyfriend.
that going? Talk about that. You're not only a groomer, a business owner, a trade show owner, and you are also an inventor. So
Yes, yeah. So I own hound hooks. I've actually got a couple of them
yeah,
right here.
please
So
go.
this is what hound hooks are. So they're a grooming arm clamp. So it attaches to the grooming arm and then attaches to the dog's collar or the grooming loop. The intended purpose is it just helps hold the dog still, keep them facing forward. So it makes it so you can groom a little bit faster and more efficiently. It's also a safety device. So because if you only have the loop on the dog and they step off the table, then they're solely hanging by the loop. Rather, where if you have this, it's a 2-point pitch, so they're not going to have all that pressure right on their neck. It also helps when you have dogs that are kind of bitey and a little
Yeah.
bit, just kind of if you put it up a little collar, they can't reach down to get it. So it has some pretty awesome purposes. Yeah, I started that February of last year, and it's just taken right off. It's a lot of fun. I just come home and watch TV while I fill my orders and get them all made and shipped out. And I've had a lot of wonderful feedback from them. People really enjoy them. So it's been kind of a fun little side venture to do. So I'm excited. I have 3 different styles of them. I even make them for round grooming arms, which is kind of a neat thing that some other competitors in the industry don't have the offer for. So kind of excited to have those available at the expo for sure.
That's great. I'm Chrissy just asked about a link. I am going right. Do you have a website for that?
For the hound hooks, they're on Etsy. So if she just goes to Etsy and types in hound hooks and it's with a Z at the end, not an
Let's see. Hold on. I'm going to go do that right now so that I can, if it'll load. And then I want to get your, where are you, Gabby? I want to put your website also.
Yeah, for sure.
Let me just do that. Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. Lee's calling. All right. This is so slow. All right. So I might have to come back on and put them back on here. So I will do that because the internet is awful. But I will get those up there on Etsy and post that on your website. And so you are just crushing it.
Thank you. Yeah. Just trying to stay busy.
Trying to stay busy. Yeah. Well, we wish you, I am so proud of you. You're glowing
Thank you.
and you wear it well. So you should be so proud of yourself as well.
Thank you. Uh, I am. I just ever since I went through academy, I always just wanted to. I met some of like Anne Francis and Sarah Drew, and she's always been a super. Cause she's pretty close to my age, and just seeing how much she grew as a young woman, how fast she grew. Like Sarah's always been a huge inspiration to me too. So I always wanted to be like the big kids and the cool kids, and always wanted to do something that would benefit our industry and help out growing our industry. So I think I'm getting there.
I think you have exceeded it so far. So one step at a time. Don't grow too fast, but definitely don't stop what
Right.
you're doing. No, and you always have a place with us. So
Thank you.
if you find yourself back here or when you're ready to start really teaching.
That is long term down the road. I very much, when I get closer to like my body doesn't really want me to groom anymore, I will be teaching. That is definitely a goal in the back of my mind that someday I will. Uh, we've got we've got like BYU, some big colleges out here, and just, I mean, the population out here is over 3 times it was back where I live. So I would very much so like to either do like a remote location for the whole pet grooming academy or something of the sort and be able to offer grooming education. I actually trained an apprentice. I don't know if Zoe's watching, but hi Zoe, if you are. I trained a 14-year-old girl in the area. I actually groomed her dog, and her mom expressed that she was wanting to become a groomer. So she did a ride along with me for several months and ended up learning how to be a bather and a grooming apprentice, and started the career path towards becoming a groomer. And so I definitely have a huge passion for teaching, and that would be a goal
Yes.
down the road.
Well, we'll be ready when you're ready.
Good, good.
You just keep doing you. Michelle Deem is watching also, and she said
Yep.
thank you. And
Yeah, Michelle, she's wanting to become a groomer too, and she was also a client of mine. Yep.
oh, she's in Keene near
Yeah.
Katie
Yep.
Milton. Yep.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Yes. So we've talked a little bit. Yeah. When she's ready, we're ready
Right.
in Wilton because Katie's location is up and running. So
Which is super exciting.
yes, yes. But well, thank you for taking time today on your day off.
Yeah, my
And
pleasure.
it was a pleasure.
For you. Yeah.
Hi, Gabby. Remember me?
Yep.
um, so you keep doing you, and I have you on my calendar, but to be there. So if that all aligns on my end, I will definitely be there.
Awesome.
I know you're gonna have Chris. You're gonna have Mindy. Who else from our end is speaking for you?
I'm not sure who else works with you guys. I've got Mario Quindo. I've got Scott Wasserman coming down, Catherine Dixon, Helen Schaefer. Gonna space a bunch of names here, but
I know Mindy. I saw her on it, and I saw is Melissa Conti Diener?
no. Kate Klassen,
Kate.
uh,
Okay. Yep.
Shannon Toop, if I'm saying that right. She's Andis actually sponsored her to come out and teach for us. Um, uh, Hazel Christensen, not sure if you know her. She's coming out too. So some pretty awesome big names in the industry. We're pretty honored to have them teaching for us.
Teaching, and they'll be competing.
Judging too, yeah. So Helen Schaefer, Hazel Christensen, Scott Wasserman, and Catherine Dixon are our 4 judges.
Scott's a tough one.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm super excited to work with him. And he's teaching a competition prep seminar the night before competition starts, which is
great.
Cool. Yeah, I loved that you had Anne Francis come in and do that before our competition that day. So I really want to offer that opportunity for new competitors. So
yeah, no, that was really it's a good thing to do and get you prepped for it. And Scott's wonderful. Scott.
right. Yep.
So, well, if I will be in touch, we'll stay in touch and see what we can do. Because if I can come and get there and help you, I'm more than happy to run your front booth for you too. So
Awesome. That's going to be a good show.
yes. Yep. All right. Well, thank you again for joining us. You are doing fantastic. You make me shine because you are just awesome.
You, so thank you.
Well, you keep doing you, Gabby, and we love you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, everyone. Well, thank you all for joining us. And next week, I do have another interview series going on. And this time, it'll be with one of our animal communicators who graduated from Latifah's first class back in 2017, I think it was 17, 18. And she is getting to be known on the international level herself. So we've got some big names coming up. So thank you guys. Have a great night.